What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Shaloy back again with another video. Hey, today I wanted to go ahead and react to the Hodgetwins and Ian Carroll. They did a podcast maybe a week or so ago. He came on there and discussed a lot of stuff. Ian Carroll, that is. Um, he's he's real big on Twitter, mainly TikTok. That's where I first seen him. He does a lot of deep dives and uncoverings of like files about the government, conspiracies. I would say theories, but they all keep coming true. Uh, he has a real interesting take in this podcast about Israel, the Israeli government and the Epstein files, and how they will never be uncovered due to the blackmail operations against the politicians and the U.S. government officials, and maybe even the president. So I want to go ahead and react to this. Let's go on and get into it.
The Epstein files. He did not officially release the Epstein files yet, but that's what everyone wants to know.
Well, he was like King Jew, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Epstein.
Well,
got the name and everything.
That is the crux of it all is Epstein. And that's so when I put out that thing with Elon and the debunkers came, the awesome Jews came and attacked me. The Epstein one, they just screech about because they have to, because the moment that you acknowledge that Jeffrey Epstein was an Israeli asset, everything else changes because we're talking sexual blackmail of the darkest, deepest nature. And and Bill Clinton, the president of the US, is like the #1 guy on that list. And so if
Bill Clinton was a president on the list, right? That's crazy because when they uncovered his Jeffrey Epstein's house on that island, it had Bill Clinton in a painting with a dress on with his legs folded. So this man Epstein must be in some deep type stuff. He even had like celebrities that were on the list, like Chris Tucker.
You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God!
You know, we flew Bill Clinton and a lot of different. Well, that was a humanitarian trip.
I don't know if Chris Tucker was doing that. Damn, I don't want to believe that. Damn, he might. But to have a president in a compromising photo or drawing like that, like, why would he have something like that? You know, and him had not Bush, but Clinton had been going to that island and whatnot. That's wild. Man, I hope Trump ain't on that list, because if it, or he, not just the list, because I know people flew with him and stuff and made it hung out, but on the sexual type tip, I hope he wasn't on that, because we definitely ain't gonna never get to see.
Israel can blackmail the president of the US. Like, I don't care what other arguments you've got. I don't like, they could be literally feeding millions of starving children in Africa, and we've still got a problem here in America because blackmail controls everything. And so it's not just our president, right? The director of the CIA that is about to be replaced, he went to Epstein. Like, he's a buddy of Epstein. He was having meetings with Epstein before he became CIA director. He had Epstein. He was a diplomat in Obama's administration, and before he had this long diplomatic career, he was an ambassador to Russia and a bunch of other countries. And then he finished his job as the ambassador to Russia around 2008 to 2012 or 13. I forget the exact years. And then when he finishes this long career in diplomacy, he needs a new job in the private sector. And he goes to Jeffrey Epstein to meet with them to get a job recommendation. That's and Jeffrey Epstein took him to the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, which is one of these big think tanks where they do their globalist, like, control the world bullshit, where they write reports and they, whatever they do. And so William Burns got a job there on Jeffrey Epstein.
Real quick, y'all think that's why we give all our money to Israel every year and defend them on every front, even when we clearly can see they're in the wrong? All our politicians say we stand with Israel, or in any major city, you can't go down the road without seeing a sign that says "We stand with Israel."
Epstein's recommendation, which is like, what does the Jeffrey Epstein connection say about that institution? But then after that, he became the CIA director, chosen by Biden. So it's like, okay, so now the CIA is being run by a dude who is at least,
compromised.
well acquainted with Epstein, if not compromised. But then there's like so many, it's not just that. Then it's like all the people in Hollywood, all the other billionaires that he ran with. So like, and Jeffrey Epstein was just one of many. But this is why I think Whitney Webb is one of the most important people of our time. She wrote One Nation Under Blackmail, like the definitive source on Epstein. And that realization that I think we're all slowly coming to, it's like this like red pill, this like Q, there's all these sort of like waking up movements happening with various degrees of tinfoil attached that are us all realizing that the world is controlled by blackmailers. And then the question just is, who are the blackmailers and how many of them are there and where are they and what are they doing? And the answer is pretty obviously that Israel is deeply involved in the blackmail scene.
That makes me think about Charlie Pasternak, the guy who's supposed to be Kanye West like overseer, supervisor, and Kanye West spoke about Charlie Pasternak. I believe he's a Jewish guy or whatnot, or he works for the Israeli or former Israeli intelligence. He sent Kanye West a threatening message and was going to get him back in line. I feel like that's what they do with a lot of these politicians, because the way they jump in line is crazy.
Not on top of the scene, which I think they are on top of the scene. And they have been ever since they were first founded like that.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't Israel, but it was the Jewish mob that was blackmailing J. Edgar Hoover for the first 45 years or whatever of the FBI's existence.
Wasn't J. Edgar Hoover gay? I think that was the rumor back in the day that he was gay, or it came out years later. So maybe that was if that's cool, if that's true, if they had blackmail on J. Edgar Hoover, maybe that's if I'm not mistaken, that maybe that's, that was the thing that they had over. Because that's wild. I mean, the Jewish mob going all the way up to the presidency, they're not just some mob, group. That's definitely like some government type stuff.
Which is very timely with cash in Congress today. But like literally the mobsters that founded Israel, they were the guys that had just grown the mob empire across the United States for the last 20 years by blackmailing J. Edgar Hoover with sexual blackmail, as well as I'm sure a ton of other politicians and people.
Right.
So it's like, well, that worked really fucking well.
Yeah. That's the blueprint.
Yeah. And they've modernized it, they made it better, but
yeah. Have you heard about the new Israeli? He's running some. Can you pull it up, Joe? That child's trafficking ring. Yeah, he's Israeli. I forget his name.
Oh, did he get arrested in Miami or something like that?
I think a couple of days ago.
Oh, I don't know about
but
a
I
couple
think he
days
got
ago.
arrested in another country. I forget the country.
Oh, I don't think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just keep on coming out. They're just like sex trafficking ring after sex trafficking ring. And earlier this year, we had the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch.
Right.
And so that's where it's like, I grew up, I'm a 90s kid, so I grew up in the 2000s, going to the mall, like Hollister, Abercrombie, like Victoria's Secret, can't breathe from all that perfume.
Right.
And we now know that Victoria's Secret was Leslie Wexner. That's Jeffrey Epstein. They're recruiting their sex trafficking victim, their girls from Victoria's Secret.
Yeah.
Then you go across the hall and it's like, oh, Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister, they're the same company.
Right.
They're being run by a gay pedophile who's recruiting from their male model catalog for a gay sex trafficking ring. And so now you look back on my childhood and I'm like going on a date in the mall as 12 years old at Victoria's Secret, Hollister, and Abercrombie, and all of that, everything about that is child sex trafficking and blackmail.
Those magazines
on a global scale
for pedophiles.
Bingo.
Look at.
Yeah, and it's that just blows my mind.
And real talk, I was heavy with the Hollister back in the day. Your boy was Hollister down. Hollister pants, shirt. I think they had the socks. I had the Wallabies with the Sperry's. I was going hard. And in Aeropostale, I didn't even know they was like cousins. They had us tricked. Like if you was getting the Aeropostale, you was like kind of low, and the Hollister was up. but the quality, that quality on that Hollister was cold. But damn, it run that deep. I can't even wear the clothes. They like what's it, Balenciaga with the whole uh pedophilia thing. The images in their clothing where that's wild. But the Hollister went crazy back in the day.
It's like we have to rewrite our entire.
That's it. Yeah, it was arrested. Interpol
yeah, I did see that.
Joe Alter.
I don't know anything about the guy.
No one's talking about it.
Yeah. Leader of. So this is where it's like I get careful when I find a clip like this. I always try to do my own research on it because it says leader of one of the largest child trafficking rings in the world.
Mm.
I would be very curious if that's legitimately true or if they're just kind of getting some clickbait to hype up their TikTok reel. Right. But I believe it. There's way more trafficking rings out there than just the ones we've seen.
I wonder that shouldn't be on the press's main agenda because that's a huge breaking story and nobody's talking about it.
That is kind of weird, right?
It's almost like that. What happened in DC is like they're too busy talking about that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's a question on everyone's mind right now. Is we all know that there's powerful forces fighting to control the information space, like the CIA, the Mossad, the corporations, the bankers, the politicians, the fucking demonic pedophiles. And the question I think on a lot of our minds is how much are they actually controlling it?
Right.
And you kind of meet the people that are like totally skeptic that are like, dude, you're crazy. And then you find the people that are like, dude, it's fucking reptiles and they have mind control and they can shape change. And there's like everyone's kind of landing somewhere in between. And one of the best examples of that is Trump. Is Trump a controlled opposition question?
I hope
that's true. Some people go too extreme left, some people go too extreme right. You got people saying, "Oh, they're reptiles." I don't know about that. And then some people that say, "Oh, nothing is happening," even though every year we see the trail, the breadcrumb trails, that lead right from it, and it's like, oh, nothing to see here. Even though you see it, I'm trying to be optimistic on some of it. I don't know if it's fixable, if it's changeable, because at the end of the day, it's just so deep. I don't see nothing changing, and we never get the guys that we might get a guy, a smaller guy on the totem pole, but you're never gonna get the whole thing. You got a whole trafficking ring across the world and stuff like that. If our politicians and leaders are in bed in that, that's a wrap. I don't think we're getting it, but gotta be optimistic.
That's like one of these lines where people beyond that line, you're pretty deep in the like black pilled, we're totally fucked realm. And below that line, it's like, and I agree. I fucking hope not.
You remember the tunnels in New York?
Oh yeah, that was weird.
Do you have any insight on what was going on there?
They
had mattresses down there.
I mean, the mattresses have insights on what was going on down there. I don't. So when that happened, I was still pretty like new to understanding what's going on in Israel. And so it's shocking. It's like it takes a year or two to realize for your worldview to reassociate. And so when that mattress came out of that hole, it was just so, I mean, you kind of know, but it's like dark to see it. And I think that tunnels specifically, I think are a way bigger part of the story than most people realize. It's like, there's like the conspiracy theory stories that everyone knows. But then there's the ones they kind of keep under wraps.
Yeah.
And I think there's a shitload of
the whole head.
Never forget. And that's not the only instance of tunnels.
Yeah.
Right. By any means.
All right, guys, that's the end of the video on that Ian Carroll clip. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments below. Are we going to see the Epstein files? Is this just smoke and mirrors with I think Trump and his team releasing little documents here and there for certain people to expose what's going on? Are they really going to give us all the names, or is it just It's just booty chatter at this point. Y'all let me know in the comments below. Y'all like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll holler back at y'all on another one. Peace.